It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, at that intersection between the digital and physical world, I'm super excited because I have Laryssa Alexander. And Laryssa Alexander is the division president for field services for ECI. Laryssa, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Ray?
I'm doing fine, Laryssa. Man, you guys got to be so excited because you are the number one ERP system in the imaging channel, that's for sure. You've done a great job over the years. We're all kind of in this terrible situation, working remote and all those things. So, how are you and your team doing? Is everybody safe and secure?
We are taking all the right measures to ensure safety for all of our employees, just like everybody else is.
Well, that's fantastic. Laryssa, I'm sure you and your team are talking to a lot of the dealers out there. What are you hearing? I mean, what are some of their top concerns as we're just about ready to exit this, crazy situation?
Sure. Well, I mean, first of all, obviously, there's going to be many concerns that can vary from one dealer to another. But we did send out a survey earlier this month, and it seemed like the top three areas that were noted as areas to focus for them were transitioning to a remote workforce, which I think has become the new norm for all of us. Exploring new technologies for automation, and then also there was an emphasis on auditing current business processes.
Well, I got to tell you, I think, eAutomate, ECI, you guys moved that to the cloud about 4 or 5 years ago, if I'm right. And, you've been on this big, campaign to really get dealers to get in the cloud. It's a lot easier for them to manage that equipment. Has that worked out well for the dealers that went ahead and went into the cloud?
It has. Obviously, as you can imagine, the cloud solutions are critical to business continuity. We have probably close to, if not more than 30% of our Yotta customer base that's in the cloud, with more being added monthly. The current health crisis, unfortunately, has made this even more evident than before. As you can imagine, being able to access data from anywhere is not only important, but it can be the difference of being able to implement a work from home policy or needing to close your business. So in addition to it, there's always an element of cost savings too. When you look at everything from the basic infrastructure of hardware costs to resources to maintaining it, ensuring scalability. Cloud is an important area for ECI where we continue to make significant investments to ensure our customers have the most current options available.
Well, let me ask you a question, Laryssa. A lot of the dealers, you said you have about 30 or so percent that are already had made that migration. Are you getting kind of a lot of calls and activity about, hey, we got to get on the cloud now? You guys were right. We're ready to move. I mean, has that happened?
It has. And as I mentioned earlier, when you consider that one of the top areas was transitioning to that work from home, unfortunately, several of our dealers were not prepared for that. So we've been working with them. We've been transitioning customers and helping them make that change. As you know, I mean, this started probably a month ago as far as starting to move to that remote work. So, it's been pretty busy for our teams, which is a good thing, and I'm glad that we're there to help them.
Well, that's great. And I don't, what are you doing as a team, as a company, during this time to really help your customer base out? I mean, is there anything you guys are doing that notice that we didn't have to do before, but you're surely doing now?
Well, I think it's been important for us is obviously we are very aware of the impact it's having to everybody, right? I mean, It's not just our customers, it's us, it's the world around. So we've been looking for ways to provide assistance where we can be able to help our customers. We conducted a CARES Act webinar as an example around government funding earlier this month. It was very well received. We've also provided numerous videos around managing in a down economy, working from home tips, and even some basic job skills, anything that we can do to provide some of that information to our customers. We also opened up web training for all of our Yotta customers for the month of April at no charge. The response was tremendous. We've had close to 1,000 participants for the month. It went over so well that we are actually extending the offer through May 15th just to make sure everybody has a chance to take advantage of this.
Man, that's awesome, and I guess that's probably why you guys have maintained that status to be the most prevalent ERP system in the entire imaging channel. And I think you all should be proud. Your team should be proud of that. There's always competitors, and times like this, it's, who's really helping me out and how am I able to run my business. Hopefully you'll get more people that'll adapt to the cloud, because I agree with you. We'll even find dealers themselves that are going to start working from home. They'll probably shift some of their workforce home from this themselves. So, what do you think is going to be critical for our dealers bouncing back from this? What's critical to them?
Well, I think one thing that we all know, I mean, we probably have some of the most resilient customers and people ever, right? I mean, they've navigated through times like this and even worse before. I mean, as you know, many of our dealerships, some of them go all the way back to the 70s. So they've weathered these storms before. So I'm confident we'll get through this, and I think we'll be stronger as a result of it. The one thing that does come to mind when I think about the dealers and being in a good position is making sure that they're leveraging all the tools available to them, investing in the areas that make sense, and making sure that business processes are running as efficiently and effectively as possible. The downtime that we have right now is a great time for some fine tuning so that they're ready to be operating on all cylinders when they return. Because I do feel that, and we are anticipating a spike, right? You can imagine all the inactivity that's happening out there. And I think there's one thing that we all know that a copier, printer, or multifunction device doesn't like to be turned off. So,
Yeah.
I hear from some of the dealers that I talk to that they're expecting some significant spikes in service and potential upgrades for devices and everything when they come back. So just making sure that they are prepared and ready to go.
Well, Wes McCarter, the owner of NextEra, has mentioned that same thing, that, once you get back in there, obviously you turn these things back on, and sometimes you get a lot of activity. Well, Laryssa, hey, it was great to talk to you, and I appreciate everything that ECI is doing for the imaging channel and eAutomate. You guys are a fantastic group of people, and you're doing a great job. The dealers have supported you and have used your products for a long, long time. So is there anything you want to say before I wrap this up?
No, just thank you for having me and giving me an opportunity to, speak to our customers. And, we're here for them, and we look forward to coming out of this and being stronger.
Well, I agree with that. My friends, I'm going to end this like I always do. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.